Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Virche Epic Lycoris, continuing Lucas's encore stories. So, anyway, we just run into Dahut, and, we're Lucas's prisoner in a cage, basically. So, I was relieved that things were progressing without incident. After our conversation with Dahut, we returned to the center of Glen. She wants to work hard to be with us. I hadn't even realized Nadia was thinking such a thing. And what's more, it was the young aide of the demon leader, Cyan Brophies, who told me. Considering his creed, he must dislike the researchers who created relivers, and also the fact that they are relivers themselves, and the fact that, it's got to be hard for you realizing that your sister really gets along with Dahut. Lucas looked troubled after seeing how Dahut managed to see Nadia's true feelings. Actually, it's true. When and what ending and which route and who did Lucas kill Cyan? Because there was a scene like that, wasn't there? Was it in Lucas's route? I feel like it was toward the end of one of them where he's going ballistic and killing everyone, and he literally kills everyone, and you're like, son of a bitch. Because he killed Hugo and in the the center of town. Was it the center of Cernamal or whatever, right, at night? And then, he kills Cyan. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that happened. I feel like that would have been Lucas's route where that happened, because we know it wasn't Eve's route, and it certainly wasn't Mathis's route. And, why would Adolphe's route, have Lucas... Right, because isn't that the scene then where we're with Anko? Oh, well, no, I don't know. And, Anko sees, Eve dying and, himself dying, and he's like, what the fuck? And, maybe that was in the, the La Salute, or Le Salute, whatever it is. That maybe it was in that ending. I don't remember. But anyway. So, listen, I don't remember what endings are which. I just have vague memories of random shit. So, I do remember us being a pile of bones and Lucas being like, someday I'll be with you. And that was one of his actual endings. I don't know how we're going to continue the after story from one of those. That might have been the Salvation one for all I know. I don't remember if that was that one or the Despair ending, but I thought it was one of those, and I don't know how you're going to continue from there, is all I'm saying. Lucas looked troubled after seeing how Dahut managed to see Nadia's true feelings. Do you hate Dahut for being a reliver researcher? They're the source of the demons in this world, and the ones I detest the most. However, after a brief pause, Lucas anxiously continued. I must be grateful for the fact that he revealed to me what Nadia has truly been feeling. I was a little surprised. I thought he'd deny and criticize everything about her relationship with Dahut. However, that wasn't the only thing I was surprised about. Late at night, after returning to our place, I woke up to a faint sound and looked around the room past the bars of the cage. And there I saw... It's kind of like they should have just moved his sprite a little over so the bar wouldn't be right in the middle of his face, is all I'm saying. Lucas, who I thought was sleeping on the floor, sat at his desk writing with determination. And please forgive me. Did I wake you? He must have sensed me looking at him as he slowly turned and looked my way. As I watched him, he reminded me of when I found out that he was Boro, and I felt a twinge of fear. What are you doing this late at night? I timidly offered my question, trying to ignore what I felt. Having her entire body jammed against my chin, it's really weird, Bird. I don't know why you keep doing this. Can you go under my chin? Can you go under my chin? I know, but you just sit with your body against my chin, and then when I talk and my chin rubs against you, and it just feels weird.
Sometimes I don't necessarily like it, and sometimes it's just tickly, and I want you under my chin, not jammed against my face. You're gonna jam against. I try to like move my shirt and adjust and like put my head way up so it'll get under my chin and then move. And he's like, "Nope, I'm gonna put right here in your face, like head basically in your mouth." I love you, but the way you're sitting, that's fine for when we're snuggling downstairs because I'm not moving. But when I'm trying to talk, he's kind of annoying. Do you like this? Me just doing this? Do you like this? No, yeah, you don't like that. You're getting mad. Yeah, it's kind of what it's, but it doesn't make me mad. But I'm not like you. That's not true. He's like, everything makes you mad. That's true. Yeah. I love you and I do want to snuggle with you, but I just wanted you to snugs right here. Right here. Right here, so you snugs under my chin. Not pressed against my chin. Under my chin, against my neck. That's better. That's more comfy for me because nope, he's like, nope, gonna sit right there against your fucking chin. Oh, bird. Oh, you're so aggravating sometimes. I love you to death, but sometimes you're such a pain in the ass. I love you. And then he gets mad because then your chin's moving and then he nips at you and it's like, well, don't sit there. You know? It's like, ugh, you're such a pain in the ass. I timidly offered my question, trying to ignore what I felt. In answer to my question, Lucas looked a bit troubled. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. No, that's not it. The truth is, I'm writing down details about Nadia's condition. I thought it might help Dahut with designing her wheelchair. Dahut? This isn't the type of thing to discuss through the bars of a cage. Yeah, because it's hard to see your face when I'm in the bar of a cage. There we go. I'm like, let me adjust and put my knee up. And if I put my knee up, then I can just put my hand out and the bird will cuddle in my hand instead of against my damn face. I got out of the unlocked cage and sat across from Lucas. His usual unreadable intentions were still frightening, but the fact that I'll take that young man's soul will not change. However, Lucas's eyes were the same ones I admired in the past. If Nadia wishes to work hard to be beside us, I too, as her brother, will find some way or set some foundation to make that wish come true. Even if it means I must momentarily cooperate with those despicable demons. Shaking off his own doubts, he declared his will to help Nadia. Ah, I see. Even though he's heartless and cruel, no matter how insane he's become, the one thing that's never left him is that he's Nadia's brother. I felt just the slightest bit of relief. Of course, it wasn't as though I trusted him again. He was an unforgivable monster who continued to take the lives of so many people. No matter how kind he might be to me or Nadia, it wouldn't erase the sins that he committed. However, this could be my chance. If he starts hesitating to kill relivers the more he interacts with Dahut, this horrible situation might start changing a little. I carefully considered my plans as I spoke. You're right. I know Nadia's working hard enough on her own, even now. But if she still thinks it's not enough, I'd like to be able to help make her wish come true, too. I told him how I truly felt, with no embellishment whatsoever. Regardless of what end Lucas might meet, Nadia still needed a powerful desire to continue living on. Thank you very much. It's reassuring to hear you say so. After watching me nod in reply, it seemed like he felt some relief. I got on my knees and sat next to Lucas. Spacey. I'll help. This isn't for you, but for Nadia. After looking down at me, taken aback a bit, I see. And then in order for us to someday hold her with a smile after she comes to us in a wheelchair she moved all by herself, may I hear what suggestions you have? Yeah. With that, I helped Lucas write out all the necessary information until late in the night. Before I knew it, I fell asleep right where I sat. I was sure anyone who knew of my situation would think I was being far too careless, but good night. Thank you for being with me despite my selfishness. You truly are the kindest and strongest of anyone I know.
I love you. He didn't express surprise or laughter. I vaguely recalled Lucas quietly carrying me back to my bed. And she wasn't listening when, because she was asleep at the I love you. Was this whole section before or after he pins you down on the bed and gets a little, like, force kisses you? You know what I mean? Was this like, was this after that? Because I'm just saying. I'm just saying we could relive that again. I'm okay. This was the continuation of that same dream. And I like how the dream is really just a flashback, but that's how they do it. It's kind of nice. It was so warm and gentle. And at the same time, a fragile vestige of happiness, forgotten once morning dawned. Oh, we're not. We're not going to actually have the flash. Okay. Or are we? Oh, nope. Oh, no, okay, we are in the. Okay, because it was like the way she said that, and then like it was just a vestige when I woke up. It's like made it sound like we're not going to flashback, but okay. It had been 2 days since the girl and her brother came to the orphanage on that rainy day. They said she had to have total bed rest, so no one but the staff and her brother could see her. I heard she was younger than me, so I was a bit worried she might be feeling lonely. Her brother's cold got better, and it was decided that he'd live at the orphanage with his sister's condition improved. While his sister's condition improved, wow. The both of us are being chased after by our parents, just in case something happens, so that none of you have to get involved. I can't reveal my identity to anyone. That wasn't the reason he gave for not telling us his name. Oh, that was the reason he gave for not telling us his name. And neither did he ask for mine. This was why I called him brother. Oh, it's you. Good morning. I'm glad you didn't catch a cold since you were in the rain that day, too. He bent his knees to meet my eye line as he spoke to me. As I looked up at him, thinking of how beautiful he looked. What are you doing in the garden? Well, I wanted to give my sister something. I asked the staff what I could do, and they told me I could pick some of the flowers blooming in the garden. I wanted to try and find one that suited her, but but all of the flowers are just so beautiful. Maybe because there's so much love put into them by everyone here. Even though he looked so deep in thought, I couldn't help but laugh. But he was right. Even I would feel troubled trying to pick a single flower out of the ones we all worked so hard to grow. Some of the children ran by playing as we stood deep in thought. It's my bird just got really spooked by the children laughing, and he's like, what the fuck? It's just the TV. It's just the game. You hear the game sounds? Sometimes there's birdies chirping and you don't react to those, but the creepy, crazy child laughter got you freaked out. I don't blame you. He's like, no, we're in a horror movie now. It's okay. It was just kids laughing in the game. It was quite excessive, though, to be fair. One of them was a girl who wore an adorable crown made of the flowers here in the garden. Seeing that, I made a suggestion. If you're gonna give her something, how about making her a crown of flowers? A crown? I see. I think something like that would make her happy. I tried to make one in the past and failed, but I think I'll try again. I nodded in response. The flowers here were always used as gifts for people offering help to us, and for us to play with. The boy first pulled out some strings from his own clothes. Let's see. The way it was taught in the book I read said to do this, then this. He began to practice in order to not waste any flowers. But, huh? Surprised by the strings suddenly breaking, I let out an awkward yelp. Well, now, this only seems easy, but is actually pretty difficult. He tried again with the shorter length of string he had left, but it snapped again. Maybe the strings are really delicate. But I felt at this rate he would never be able to finish. I picked a few of the flowers and sat in front of the boy. Let's make some together. I'll show you how. Are you sure? I'm sure you'd rather play with the other children. I'm sure. I want to give her something too. I see. And then I appreciate your offer. I'll be your student and you'll be my teacher. For now. Look at his little fangs even as a child. Okay. After practicing with the string, he picked a few flowers and tried to make the real thing.
Just be very gentle. Hold them gently. First, make the stems into a cross. And you do this, then turn it over, and the stems are wrapped upward. To turn it over. With shaking hands, the boy mimicked what I did. Then you put in new flowers, and after adjusting all the stems, you turn over the third flower one more time. Like this. Maybe just a little looser. Looser. Don't be forceful. Gently. How about this? Yeah, that's good. I know I still have to be careful, but I feel like I get the idea. I wasn't able to do it in the past, but it's actually really fun to try it again now. He doesn't really have a kid voice, I know, but. Yeah, I think so too. In a cold sweat with shaking hands, I watched him as he continued working diligently on the crown. His face was so serious, because he has his sister to protect. That was what I guessed, at least. Still, I think this will come out a bit awkward compared to the ones you and the others can make. I just hope she won't be disappointed. I'm sure she'll love it. For some reason, I spoke my thoughts aloud despite not knowing her at all. Thank you very much. You certainly are a strange girl. You seem timid at first glance, but somewhat stubborn. I mean, strong-willed. His hand gently stroked not the flowers, but my head. Please don't forget how pure your heart is. As long as you don't forget, I'm sure you'll meet plenty of good people in the future. But I've met a lot of good people already. That's true. Everyone at the orphanage is so kind. You and your sister are nice people, too. Thank you very much. And not only for your kindness toward my sister, but to me as well. You're being very bitey. You're not being very nice. You want me to pet you, but then you bite. You're just a very mean boy. Over the next few hours, he completed the crown. Well, thank you, brother. Does the flower crown look good on me? Yes, it looks wonderful on you. I'm just sorry I made it so clumsily. That's why I like it. You're clumsy, so I knew right away it was made by you. That's so fucking adorable. Oh, it's you. I was standing around in the hallway as the boy left the girl's room. Were you waiting for me? Yes. I was just wondering about her. Is she doing better now? She needs much more rest, but she's doing much better than the first day we came here. And you were right about the flower crown. She accepted it happily. All of this is thanks to you. I shook my head as the boy looked at me. You taught me so kindly how to make it, and didn't give up on me even though I was clumsy. See, look at his little fangs. He's got little fangs. Thank you for bringing us to this friendly place. We've received so many things from you these past few days. I promise I'll repay you, even if it takes my whole life, all right? The way he said it without any hesitation made me freeze up. However, after a few seconds, I slowly started to understand what his words meant. I began to tear up a bit. This is the first time I've helped someone. I always make people sad. I must be troubling him by saying all this. I don't know what happened in your past, but I truly feel blessed to have met someone like you. I just was spending these peaceful days with you could last forever. That was what he wished, but it also seemed like he felt it wouldn't happen. He smiled, looking almost sad, as if he already knew it to be true. And then you just bit me for no reason. You're not very nice. She's very mean. She's a very, very mean, aggressive bird. It's just, he bit me, but now he's just sitting there snugged in my hand staring at me, and it's like, you're just very mean and aggressive. He's snuggling in your hand, and 90% of the time you just snuggle with your teddy bears. I know. He was a beast. It was 3 days later when I would come to understand what it was he meant. Squish. Squish, squish. Ah. Now I deserve that because I squished at you. I know I gave you squeezes and you don't like it. I'm very sorry. All right. We've heard rumors that people who might be my mother and father have been looking for us.
Hoping to talk to him again today, I carried a picture book and some toys over, and found him talking to the staff with a serious look on his face. I see. Well, this country is rather small. It's no surprise you'd be found eventually. What are you going to do? If you want to convince them to let you stay here, we can help and... No, knowing them they'll ignore what we want and force us to come back with them. And in that case, that would cause all of you a great deal of trouble. In the worst case, people might be injured or even die. Then what are you planning to do? After thinking for a short while about what the staff member said, we'll leave the orphanage before they find us. Thank you all so much for everything you've done for us up until now. He lowered his head as he spoke. When I rushed over to him, he looked up. It's you. Did you hear what we were talking about just now? I nodded my head. Are you going to leave us? I stared up at his face, praying it wasn't true. Yes, I can't continue to be a bother to all of you here. As I looked down sadly, he easily picked me up and put me on his knee. Sir? You're like a child. Would you feel lonely without us? Yes, I want to play with you. I want to meet your sister. I think it's I want to play with you, but then again, I want to meet your sister would be very endearing for him too, so both of them would be good. I want to meet your sister. I'm like, that would definitely not be a bad answer for Lucas. I wanted to talk to you and your sister. Yes, that's the one thing I regret not being able to do. Please understand, if we stay here, many people will be hurt. I nodded and buried my face in his chest. He stroked my hair gently as I cried. We really will miss you. She rarely ever becomes close to anyone from outside the orphanage. I'm sure you don't need to rush out today. I'll get some medicine and food ready, so please wait until you're all set to go. And until then, would you mind making some last memories with her? Yes, of course. Readjusting his hold on me, he gave me a smile as beautiful as an angel's. Well, we don't have much time left, so would you mind putting a smile on and spending it with me and my sister? His smile looked somewhat sad. I saw that he really didn't want to leave either. Yeah, I'll show you how to make another kind of crown, okay? I sniffled, accepting that he was leaving, and stopped myself from protesting. I spent a lot of time with him after that. He read picture books to me, we drew together, we played tag with the other children. I even handed a letter and a crown directly to his sister. We continued to spend this wonderful time together. 3 days later, we said our goodbyes. Look, they're leaving now. Looking at the young boy and his sleeping sister on his back, several tears slid down my cheeks. Thank you for everything. It'll be lonely, but I wanted to say bye. Yes, I'm sad we have to part now, too. But at the very least, I want to give you this. What he offered to me was... We're getting a little baby CG. He does not look so baby in this CG, though. If we're 18, then we were like, it was 8 years ago, we were 10. Why was I talking like we were 5? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, this is like, we both look like we're preteen. You know what I mean? Like, we look like we're 11 or 12 and he's like 13 or 14 here. You know what I mean? But they had to do it. They had to make it like pretty and like, you can't be like, look, a little baby. You have to be like, no. We look like teens in love here. It's kind of adorable. And like, they had to make it super pretty. Is this a ring made of flowers? Yes, I was able to make it based on what you taught me. How fucking adorable is that? Lovely young miss. Would you do me the kindness of accepting this? I sniffled as the boy gently put the ring on my finger. On our ring finger, no less. Sir, you're too young to be getting engaged. Although, to be fair, in this country, probably about right, you're middle-aged. To be fair, he's like, what? 12 or 13? Definitely middle-aged in this country.
Does it look good on me?
Absolutely. Your smile's as adorable as a flower, so it's perfect for you. Are you hitting on me already, sir? Jesus.
Thinking I'd just be troubling him by staying sad. That makes me happy. I gave a watery smile through my tears. I'll take care of it. Please come back and visit once your sister gets better. I'll make a flower crown for you next time.
Yes, I promise.
And and also, no more trying hard all by yourself. When you're in pain, you need to tell people, okay? When you don't want to do something, you need to say so.
Yes, I promise.
After nodding, he patted my head as usual.
Thank you for letting me cry. Thank you for telling me I don't need to try so hard. If I feel like I'm about to be crushed by how painful things are, I'll save myself by remembering what you told me.
As if with regret, his hand slowly left my head.
Imagine the fact that the first CG we get in Lucas's route is a baby Lucas CG. It's a little unfair.
He began to take one step after another toward the exit.
I'm so glad I met you. I'll never forget our meeting, and if fate allows it, I'll be looking forward to the day I can see you again.
Waving his hand and giving me the most sincere smile, he and the girl left.
What did he do with Nadia in that situation? She was on his back. He just like dump her on the ground to give me a flower?
I opened my eyes. There I saw the back of Lucas's blonde hair in front of me.
Good morning, Spacey. Did you sleep well?
I had a sense of deja vu and remember waking up in a similar fashion yesterday. Seemed that after carrying me to my bed, he fell asleep as well, leaning against it, while I had shackles securely fastened around my wrists.
Well, since when did I get chained up? I used to just be locked in a cage and now I got chains?
I sat up and asked him a question while discreetly trying to keep my distance. Good morning. Were you able to finish the notes on Nadia?
Yes, for the most part. All that's left is to associate any details with how the development is going.
He looked as normal as ever when we were talking like this.
Sorry, hold on. Oh, Bird, you're back to being shoved against my face, and it's so annoying.
As I sat with my complicated feelings, Lucas spoke again.
I was able to make this because of your help. I've received so many things from you in such a short amount of time. I don't feel like I could repay you even if I dedicated my whole life to the effort.
He thanked me with the most earnest emotion.
You taught me so kindly how to make it and didn't give up on me even though I was clumsy. Thank you for bringing us to this friendly place. Oh, that's it. Okay, so the first flashback that we had, it was just like the orphanage, and then it was just like dot, 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 and a question mark. Obviously, it was supposed to be Lucas. Okay, I kind of forgot about that for a hot second, like, not gonna lie, until we just got this little flashback of our memory. We received so many things from you these past few days. I promise I'll repay you, even if it takes my whole life, all right?
Bird, stop. Huh. What was that just now? It was as if what Lucas said was similar to a memory I had of someone else.
I'm trying to sit up as high as I can and like put so he cannot jam against my chin. It's just like when I'm sitting there at night, like later, if I'm just on my phone or whatever watching TV and he's doing that, it's totally fine. But it's the friction of when you sit there and then your chin is just lightly rubbing against him, and then he kind of gets nippy because then he's like, "Oh, you're moving," and it's like, well, don't sit right there. My chin is moving. But it's also like just the feeling of your face rubbing against him, just like the very tip of your chin just lightly rub. It's just like sometimes it's like either annoying, like or it's a little ticklish, like, but it's like I don't. It's like, no, stop it. He's soft, but he's not that soft. It's like, you know what I mean? It's still like odd feeling, and you're like, no, 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 don't do that. So it's like when he sits like this, it's like, please don't do that when I'm trying to record and talk. You can do that later at night. But he just refuses to sit anywhere else right now.
Is something the matter? Oh, good. Now he's jammed under my neck.
and into my esophagus. That's much better. Sounds weird to be like, him being jammed in my esophagus is not pleasant either, but it's much easier to move my mouth and talk. Huh? Oh, no. Maybe I was just imagining things. It's nothing. It's interesting because she can't remember it, so, okay. When I denied it, Lucas looked at me curiously. I was taken outside again today to continue living out our fake lives. I reported to Mother at the orphanage how things were going. But I think it would be dangerous if I asked for help without being careful. I have to ask them indirectly while Lucas isn't around. I have to save Uncle as well, who's been buried. After going over my thoughts, I decided not to tell Mother about Lucas's true identity. Okay, because I think we had a scene in the original game where we actually sat down and talked to Mother and we had a choice of like, tell her, don't tell her, or like, try to blink rapidly at her or throw her a sign and then Lucas catches us and that's a bad ending or whatever. So I'm kind of glad they didn't put that in again because you would have to obviously change it to being the option of not saying anything. But they were like, no, we'll just be like, I decided not to say anything to Mother and not even have that scene. So you're not even repeating it. I kind of like that because, I don't necessarily mind these. And again, like I said, there are times where I'm like, I do feel like it's very familiar. And I can kind of get is there really a point? Not necessarily. I don't mind them though. And I definitely don't mind like the little additions, like having those flashback memories and adding little fluff into it and stuff, But I will definitely say we don't need to repeat every damn scene from the original game. We can do exactly what we did here and go. And they might have been doing that the whole time. I don't know. But I know, I remember a scene where we talked to her and I thought we had a choice where we like try to warn her or say something and then Lucas catches us or something and it ends up as a bad ending. Or like, I swear we had a choice. And I know there was a scene where we were talking with Salome, right? So I'm kind of glad that if it was in this part that they kind of just condensed it and said, I went and talked to Mother, but I decided not to tell her. And then we gloss over it so we don't have to like go through the whole scene again. Anyway, on our way back home, I get it, some scenes it makes sense that we have to redo, but you might change this to that. Considering Nadia's strength, it might be better to change the materials I'm using. As we came across an aqueduct, we ran into Dahat, again, working on Nadia's wheelchair again. Bird, there's nothing up there. Please simmer down. You're getting really annoying. You normally just sit quietly, but right now you're being a pain in my ass. Hello, Dahat. I see you're working on improving the wheelchair today as well. Oh, and you two. Enjoying a fun day out today? Yes, well, it certainly wasn't fun, but I couldn't exactly say so right now. Is it all right for you to be absent from the Institute? I assume Cyan must not be very pleased. It's no problem at all. I use the extreme workloads he normally gives me as a way to forcefully make him give me days off. Dodd spoke as he made adjustments to the chair. And now you're pressed against my face again. I love you, but I really wish you wouldn't sit there, Bird. The fingertips of his white gloves were covered in dirt. Oh, he is wearing gloves. I was like, is he wearing gloves? I don't know if I remember that. I could see that he had fallen over and over again with each test he took. Lucas looked at him deep in thought. And as he did, stop it. Lucas, I gathered up the courage to tug at his sleeve, and I suggested he take out the notes from his pocket. Lucas took in a breath as if making up his mind. I love you, but if you're gonna sit there, I don't want you nipping at my face. It's annoying. Simmer the fuck down. Do not make me chuck you downstairs. Duh. I wanted to give you this. He gave him the information about Nadia that we could think of last night. I love you, but you're so fucking annoying right now. Will you please? Okay, come here. I need to, okay. I'm going to give you a little potty break for a second because I'm hoping that if I move around and get you a break and get you adjusted or something that you will stop fucking being so irritating right now. He's like not even doing anything bad. He's literally just sitting in my face and it's just so annoying. I don't like it when you sit in my face when I'm trying to talk. Thank you. Will you go downstairs? Will you go downstairs? Here's me just trying to shove him downstairs and he's climbing up my arm. He won't go downstairs.
I don't want to chase you downstairs. I know some days I have chased you downstairs, and I'd be like, no, you get the fuck downstairs because you're being an asshole. You're not really being an asshole right now. I just really do not want you sitting against my face. It's really aggravating. It's just like tweaking me out. It's like, God damn. Like, I can't, every time I do a line and I just rub against him gently with my chin, it's like, ugh. He's soft, but it's just, there's something about it that's like, no, stop it. Like, I don't want to be rubbing again. I can't. And he's driving me bonkers because, like, he's been doing this a lot more lately where he's like, I'm just going to sit there and push my little head against your chin and you just, I love you, but I hate it when you sit like that. It sounds awful. I mean, I don't mind when you do it when we're downstairs, when I'm not trying to talk or read something. But I'm trying to talk and read something, so it's really annoying. You can only sit like that when I'm not moving my face. Like, because I'll be laying there watching TV and he'll just snuggle against your face and you're fine because it's not moving. It's the friction of rubbing against him is so, it just feels awkward and I don't, I love you and I love patting you and you're very soft, but I don't want to pet you with my chin, okay? It's a list of details about Nadia, how she moves and some quirks she has. Please use it to help develop your wheelchair.
Wow, this helps so much. Today's tests have been going well too. With this information, I should be able to have it done in a few days.
I see, and that's good. I thought I noticed Lucas's expression soften at Dahut's remark. Come here and snug with my hand. Come here.
When it's finished, I'd like both of you to be there when Nadia uses it.
Yes, we will. Oh, there you go. Go snug down. There you go. After that, we made idle conversation about nothing in particular before leaving Dahut. What are you doing? Where are you going? Okay, you go pet yourself. A few days after that, security in both Cohen and Cheetahs were heightened as the Corps remained on the lookout for Boro. This forced even Lucas to stop his activities for a while. That said, I was still being monitored while inside my prison. I couldn't escape even if I had tried. And within all that, the situation showed no signs of changing, although an anonymous letter was sent to us. I have something important to show you.
There's a star in it. I have something important to show you. Meet me at the hospital entrance on this day and time.
The letter was signed by D.
There's a star in the quote. You know it was Dahut before even that.
Which meant it's only been a few days. Maybe it's about the wheelchair. That must be why he asked to meet the hospital where Nadia is staying. And that's what I'm assuming. But do you really think it's finished already?
Yeah, there you are. You're right on time, just like I wrote in the letter.
Speak of the devil. Dahut came out of the hospital as though he didn't hear any of our conversation.
Sorry, I got here a bit earlier than you so I could see Nadia.
Well, you could have asked... Oh. You could have asked us to come... Asked us. I'm thinking it's supposed to be us. Well, you could have asked us to come to Nadia's room instead of coming all the way out to get us.
Well, that's true, but there's a reason why I'm seeing you out here.
Reason?
Yeah. Lucas, forgive me for jumping into the matter right away. Are you aware Nadia's suffering from something called a genetic disorder?
Okay, so they threw in the... Because I remember this. I'm like, do I remember, like, them coming to the hospital at night, but it wasn't about a wheelchair? Okay, the wheelchair is a side thing. I don't remember Dahut working on a wheelchair or any of that. I don't remember anyway, but I remember this. Us coming here and then him being like, hey, do you... And talking about the genetic disorders, and he wants to figure out the cure and stuff like that.
Huh? From the looks of it, I guess you didn't know. Glad I asked then.
A genetic disorder? I thought it was some unknown disease.
Well, you're correct in what she has is technically unknown. But first, I have a log with me of what we all chatted about back in the Institute. Do you mind checking it out?
With that, Dahut took out a small device that looked similar to a transmitter, then started it up. Well.
Excuse me, Deputy Director. What is a genetic disorder? I've never heard of it before. I don't blame anyone for not knowing much about it. We watched as they discussed a diagram on a blueprint of life that constructed humans. The blueprint of life that constructed humans and defects that might occur. Okay. And so what's happened is that Nadia was born with genes that weaken her muscles to extreme fragility. I know I'm being a busybody, but I figured it'd be best to let her family know the gist of the situation. Which makes sense because, like, Lucas's family have genes to enhance their physical strength, so of course at some point, you know, it's like, oh, breeding, like, Persian cats. Was it Persian cats? Or some smush-faced animal. Persian cats or smush-faced dogs. It was originally they were bred for their pronounced noses, but due to inbreeding, it's just now they're smush-faced and look like they ran into a door. You know what I mean? And like that's not how they were originally bred, but that's basically like, you know, Lucas's family in a way, like, oh, superior strength, super strong muscles, and eventually someone was gonna get the fucked gene and be like Nadia and have the complete opposite. After all, I was worried that something similar might happen to you too because of your genes, Lucas. I see. If her genes were the cause of her state, then no wonder none of the doctors could find the reason for her ailment. Who would have thought we'd learn the reason behind it in this way? Uh-huh. Well, I'm sorry. It's not like I know the cure yet, so I guess I really am being a busybody here. No, just knowing the reason is a great advancement. I will let Nadia know when the opportunity permits. Thank you very much for sharing such valuable information. No worries. I only did it because she's a good friend. We do still have Bora to worry about, so I'm thinking of staying away from the hospital for a while, just in case. But before that... Todd happily twirled in place as we looked at him quizzically. There's something, no, a spectacle, that I want you two to see. Would you both slowly enter the hospital with Lucas as the first one in? We stood in front of the entrance as Dahl had suggested. Has something happened to Nadia? Lucas put his hand on the door as he nervously spoke. He said a spectacle. He wouldn't, if something happened to Nadia, he wouldn't sound happy about it. Jesus. Anxious, he opened the door. I could hear the slow creaking of wheels. This is so cute. The one working desperately to move those wheels with her thin arms was the girl claimed to be dead from birth by all the many doctors who gave up on her. What? She was working her hardest, pushing the wheelchair forward through the empty hallway. She looks so over it. Her face is like, whatever. You didn't think I could fucking do this, bitches. There's just something so gangster in her little face right now. Like, I'm a smoky wall in a wheelchair race. Like, what the fuck? What is this expression? I love it. She was out of breath and stopped on occasion. That does not look out of breath. She looks like she's over this shit. But refusing to give up, she gritted her teeth and continued forward. Nadia! Wait. As I was about to rush forward to her without thinking, Lucas grabbed my arm. A bit more. Just a bit more. Lucas's eyes were widened, gazing at the sight of his little sister doing her best, as if witnessing a miracle. You can do it. You can do it, Nadia. At Lucas's words, Nadia knitted her brows and put strength into her arms. In the quiet hallway, all that could be heard was the sound of the wheelchair slowly creaking. And after a few minutes... Mother! Speezy! She made her last push. With shaking arms and her forehead covered in sweat, Nadia spoke. Tiddy, I'm the one who came to see you two! Opening her arms wide, she hugged both of us who were right in front of her. The fact that Nadia was coming to greet him was such an incredible change. Unable to understand what just happened, Lucas simply stood frozen. I also stood there at a loss for words. Lucas. I pulled at Lucas's arm and brought him back to reality. Calling out to him seemed to work. Is he gonna cry? Oh, he looks like he's gonna cry. Large droplets of tears fell from his eyes. I was being like, oh, is he gonna cry? It sounded so sarcastic and douchey when I said it, but I literally was like, oh, is he gonna cry? Like, Like, that's cute. Now, like, oh, is he gonna cry? It really just came out so wrong when I first said it. They fell in an endless stream. He cried in a way I felt I'd seen before, like a young boy. Nadia. Lucas dropped to his knees and embraced Nadia in a hug. He. Nadia smiled with joy. See, brother? Did I do a good job? Yes, you did. You're the strongest and cutest in the whole world. I'm so proud of my little sister. Sister. The sight of them as an ordinary pair of siblings was just so bright. Nadia, you really are not unfortunate, but the strongest and the cutest friend in the whole world. I'm so proud of you. Following Lucas, I hugged the both of them together. Thanks. You're the best big sister. You're so important to me too, Spacey. When I went to see her the other day, she found out I was developing the wheelchair. And she asked for my help to try it mid-development so she could surprise you two. And I just couldn't turn her down. I see. You too, Dot. The cheer you made's amazing. The thing is it's good to get test results from the person who's going to use it, because she can give you feedback and be like, it's a little hard, like, to do this, so. I can move it even with my thin arms. Well, there's still plenty of work that needs to be done. The goal now is to lessen the burden on you, Nadia. Lucas, are you alright? You're sniffling and covered in tears. My apologies. I've lost my composure. You were really happy about Nadia working so hard, weren't you? I haven't seen brother cry in so long. If it makes you that happy, then I want to use this wheelchair every day. Don't tease your brother so much, Nadia. Allow me to fix it up just a bit more. It's been a bit tough for you the past few times you used it, right? Are you sure? But you're so busy and important. I'm positive. After all, I'm doing this for a dear friend of mine. Thanks, Dot. And to show my thanks, I'll make you a crown that'll look really good on you. Well, thank you. I'm sure any crown you decide to make will suit me perfectly. And you know Dahut would rock that fucking crown. He'd go into work and sigh and be like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is that? And he'd be like, it's a crown and I look goddamn beautiful and you're just jealous you don't have one. Huh. And you know he would. Lucas and I walked off, not wanting to bother them in their excitement. Here's the thing. Lucas absolutely would wear a flower crown. Okay. Eve would absolutely wear a flower crown. He would probably be like, shit, I want 6. Dahut would wear a flower crown. Cyan would probably sit there like a pissed off cat that you put a sweater on when you put a flower crown on him. And he'd probably glare at you and say horrible things, but I think he would, like, I'm not sure if he'd swat it off or he just wouldn't be bothered. He'd be like, the only reason I'm not swatting this damn thing off is because it takes energy that I don't feel like expending for that. It would be a waste of time and energy. But secretly, deep down inside, he'd probably like it, but he'd still look like a pissed off cat in a sweater. You know what I mean? Unko absolutely would happily wear a flower crown. Yeah. And Adolphe would just be really embarrassed about wearing the flower crown. He would begrudgingly do it. He'd be the one that's like, oh my God, why are you making me do that? Oh my God. Like, this is so embarrassing. But he would do it, and he would absolutely, he would, his whole like, oh God, why am I doing this, is because he's just embarrassed. Because he thinks it's adorable. So they'd all wear flower crowns. Oh, and Mathis would absolutely wear a flower crown. Come on. Mathis would be the one that you'd braid his hair like fucking Rapunzel in that scene in Tangled. You know what I mean? With all the flowers braided in his goddamn hair. And to like, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And Capucine would just be jealous nobody made him a flower crown. Jean would only wear a flower crown if Rosalie made it for him. But then he'd be like, no, this is for you, queen. And he wouldn't wear it. He'd give it back to her. So, whatever. I'm just saying, all of our boyfriends would wear flower crowns for us. You know it. Absolutely. Cyan is the one I want to make a flower crown for, because again, he just looked like an angry, pissed off cat in a sweater. And that's the best goddamn mental image. You can just see his, like, scowly, pissed off face. His sighing exasperatedly, where you know he's like just so mad that he has to wear the stupid crown. Again, deep down inside, he kind of likes it, but he doesn't understand that yet. But he wouldn't take it off. And his excuse for not taking it off would literally just seriously just be like, I don't have the energy to. Whatever. Because you know he just eats bread off the floor. He eats floor bread. It's not even toast. That motherfucker can't even be bothered to toast his bread. Okay? It's just white ass Wonder Bread. Okay? So you know he wouldn't take that flour crown off. And it would just be because it would expend unnecessary energy. But again, he loves it. Deep down, it'd be like, oh. Like he's like, yeah, whatever. I don't like you, but you feed me sandwiches. So like, this is cool. You know? I'm just saying. Lucas and I walked off, not wanting to bother them in their excitement. Lucas's eyes, as he watched them, were so gentle. Actually, I think Lucas would want you to braid flowers into his hair, too. At the very least, they didn't seem like they felt any hatred toward relivers. If only this moment had come sooner, I could last longer. I wish it happened before Lucas became a murderer. But maybe it'll change things because these little moments are different. Because we didn't have the wheelchair scene. We did have the Dahut trying to help. Oh my god. We also, I don't think, had Capucine saying this. We know what he does, but these fools, insects who gather around my future bride, Nadia. Not to mention their past transgressions on me. I won't stand for any more outrage from them. Capucine wouldn't wear a flower crown because he's too much of a bitch and no one would make one for him. Capucine can make we could make him make, no. I know how we could get him to wear a flower crown. We just put it around his neck and then string it up by a tree. We'll make him a flower noose. Yeah. Sounds like a good time. He deserves it and nobody is mad about that. Listen, he's just going to look really pretty when we hang him. That's all I'm saying. By the time Lucas's swollen eyes returned to normal, we were on our way back home. I knew that once we were back, what awaited was my life inside that cage. Right now, I just wanted to bask in the joy emanating from Nadia and how she worked so hard on her own. A lot happened today. I was surprised by the wheelchair, but also that Nadia's condition was a genetic disorder. If we know what's ailing her, then perhaps God's work can completely cure her. It's quite frustrating, but I should repay him for providing information before I receive word to purify his existence. He had in his hands a small ray of hope. He didn't look at Dahut with cold eyes I thought he would. With the cold eyes I thought he would, sorry. However, that night, the wish made by Nadia, Dahut, and Lucas would be shattered by a single letter we received. Because Capucine's going to be like, you have to purify Dahut. After returning to Lucas's home, right as I was put back into the cage to sleep, I heard a small sound from the door to the entrance. I looked down to see a small envelope pass through the bottom of the door. A letter at this hour? I assume it's from the Society. Any secret messages are always sent around this time of night. I could only assume the worst, considering the timing and the fact that it was from Capucine. But while I kept my thoughts secret to myself, Lucas unexpectedly picked up the letter and opened it without hesitation. As he read what was written on it, his eyes opened wide and he froze. I wondered what it was that could affect Lucas this way, when it seemed almost nothing else could shake his madness. Lucas, what's written on it? Another order to purify someone. I'm to carry it out tonight. That meant he was going to kill another reliver as Boro. No. I thought, at the very least, that he wouldn't be involved in these activities while he had to watch over me. Lucas, please don't. I called for him to stop, but even before I could convince him, Lucas already expressed a look of hesitation. Lucas? The one I need to purify is Dahut. Yeah, because Capucine's like, Nadia's friends with Dahut, and how dare that motherfucker touch my wife. Because here's the thing. All right, we're like, if Nadia actually didn't die and she got to grow up and everything like that and grow up to a normal age, like, we're like absolutely shipping Dahut and Nadia because, like, he would take the fucking care of her. Like, you know what I mean? They'd be adorable. They'd be cute as shit. He would totally take fucking care of her. Even if she was like wheelchair bound for like the rest of her life, like, nope, I'll take care of her. You know, whatever. You know what I mean? But like, Capucine is like, Dawn's like, she's my friend and I want to help her and I want to figure out what's wrong and she's my bestie and then they're going to fall in love later. Okay? And that's adorable. Okay, but Capucine's like, oh, her GNA is sexy. And it's like, that's just gross and weird. And you want to turn her into a freak of nature. And she's a child and you're talking about her being your wife. And that's, I know you're going to fuck with her and like turn her into a monstrosity, but it's still a little gross, dude. Ew. And you're just jealous because you know if she had a choice, she'd marry Dahut in an instant. When she gets older. You know what I mean? That's right. Recently, Dahut had been going outside frequently to build the wheelchair for Nadia. Capucine must have determined this to be an excellent opportunity to assassinate him. He didn't even know that Lucas was involved in those errands outside. Lucas! I grabbed the bars and shook the entire cage. Nadia will be so fucking mad. You absolutely mustn't take on that order. Dahut's been working so hard for Nadia. If you kill him, I know you'll regret it. But God's will is absolute, and this is also crazy. Is not God talking to you, you crazy bitch? I must purify the relivers, or Nadia will... It's not right to try and keep her alive this way. Are you going to take away her friend in exchange for a hope to save her that you don't even know will work? Gently kicking at the ground created a crack from which he produced a massive halberd and a black cloak. Taking those in hand, Lucas continued toward the door that led outside. Lucas! As he was about to leave, I shouted to him. It's all right to tell people when you don't want to do something. Nadia doesn't want you to have a life where you alone are constantly enduring pain. Lucas stopped. Forgive me. Never. It happened in an instant. Leaving me in the cage, Lucas departed to kill Dahut. Yeah, forgive me. I will never forgive you. I would say never. I would have said it. No, I'll never forgive you if you do this. Damn. Ooh, okay, let's do Lucas's perspective and then it's almost time, but okay. I moved through Quen, nimbly jumping off the rooftops of people's houses. While people were spending the night indoors, fearing the arrival of Boro. Yeah, now I've done it. I was so busy with my tests that it's gotten completely dark out. I gotta get back to Cernival before Boro shows up. I saw the target I needed to purify. A member of the organization that created those wicked demons. There's no one else around. I'm sure there wouldn't be a commotion if I purified him quickly once he reaches the border to Cheetahs. Oh, I don't remember in the original if Lucas kills Dahut or not. I thought Dahut escaped. But then again, no. Maybe when Lucas was terrorizing everyone and murdering everyone in the town center and then killed Cyan and all that, maybe that was the La Salute ending, because that was where you realize, you know, when they reveal that Dahut is actually like the prince and like, you know, and the mastermind behind everything and all of that stuff. And I thought it was like he's like, I escaped, I went through a vent, like whatever, and like, you know. But it is funny that Dahut probably has a backup. Well, actually, did they kill him? Because did he have a backup? But it is extremely funny because, like, Capucine doesn't know that Dahut's the one paying his bills. So you're going to kill Dahut, and you don't know that Dahut's paying your bills. Shit. Well, the electricity's going out now, motherfucker! That's actually kind of funny when I like that. Kind of forgot about that for a hot second. That's funny. I gripped my halberd and waited for the chance to strike. But what if I did purify him? What would happen to Nadia's happiness and dreams?
That joyous moment when I held her with Spacey, after she was finally able to move in a wheelchair all by herself. Was I going to take that away from her with my own hands? My target stepped through the border between Cheetahs and Cohen, giving me the perfect opportunity. Batting away the thoughts that came to mind, I jumped from where I was waiting.
I feel like Dahut's got a backup. You need a body, but
The moment I swung down my halberd from above toward that horrible demon.
when you don't want to do something, you need to say so.
From the depths of my memories, forgotten through the minister's drugs and teachings, I heard the voice of a small, innocent girl.
It's all right to tell people when you don't want to do something. I like the fact that, like, it's basically the exact same thing, but it's slightly worded differently, as opposed to she words it exactly the same. Because if you were to say, like, this is something that's true to her, this statement. You know what I mean? This is how she feels. But, like, what you said when you were 10 and what you say when you're 18 isn't going to be exactly word for word the same. But they'll do that in games where they'll say the exact, it's all right to tell people when you don't want to do something, and they'll say the exact same thing older. But, like, this is saying, like, when you don't want to do something, you have to say so. It's okay to tell people when you don't want to do something. It's 100% the same sentiment with just slightly different wording. And I just like that they did that because it's way more realistic. You know what I mean? You wouldn't say the exact same word for word thing 8 years later just by accident. You know what I mean? It's more believable that you would reiterate the same feelings with a different choice of wording, you know?
It was just like what she shouted from inside the cage. Uh, I didn't want to.
Was that crumbling? Ooh. I'm gonna guess he doesn't. And I don't remember if he did in the first. I would think maybe this is different because we didn't have the wheelchair scenario, so we wouldn't have had everyone talking, and you definitely wouldn't have had Capucine be like, "Oh, he's near my bride," and like whatever. You know what I mean? And maybe there was still like, you have to kill Dahut, and he was like, okay, but there wasn't the tension like this. So, but anyway, we'll find out next time. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.